What's chirping, crickets? It's Kim for Kim Takes On. I am obviously Kim, if you've never been here before. Hey, I'm glad to see you. And of course, my wonderful co-host, my absolute bestest buddy who helps me get this show together and keeps my nerves steady-ish. Ta-da! Terrence the Wonder Duck. Terrence says hi. And Terrence and I want to talk about Eurovision. Eurovision 2024 has come and gone. And it was Eurovision. You know, it's a spectacle in and of itself. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing because goodness knows I'm a spectacle in and of myself. I am going to say right here, right up front, because I want to be honest with all my crickets out there. This is not going to devolve into a show about politics. I am not bringing anything up about politics. I am not bringing anything up about controversies, all that stuff like that. You want controversies and political stuff and all that jazz, go watch C-SPAN or Fox News or whatever. Just go watch that stuff because I'm not smart enough to talk about it. Ta-da! Of course, I think a lot of people on TV and stuff aren't smart enough to talk about the stuff they're talking about, but nobody asked me. They'd probably be better off asking Terrence, because I'm rather convinced Terrence is smarter than me. I know he's cuter than me. I'm fine with that, though. So, first of all, big, enormous, huge, congratulations and love and everything to Nemo from Switzerland with his song The Code, which won Eurovision by a metric crap ton of votes, which was great. I'm not saying that's wrong or anything like that because it deserved to win. It was an amazing song. Absolutely loved it. They are an amazing artist and they are going to be incredible and the sky is the limit for them and their talent. And I wish them nothing but the best and love and everything like that. And to everybody else who made it all the way to the finals, I know a lot of people think it's BS when people do things like this, like at the Academy Awards and stuff, but it is a big thrill to make it that far. Even if you don't take first prize, you made it all the way to the end. And I send out nothing but positive vibes and congratulations to all of the other acts. Because you all went out there and did your best and really kicked it into high gear and everybody did great. And it was just a really fun show. We'd watched the semifinals, so we already, knew what the acts looked like and stuff like that and what they were doing, which was great. Kind of gave you an idea of how things. I mean, I know what the last, the finals, they could probably tweak a few things if they wanted to, but I didn't really see anything that seemed very different or anything like that. So either there wasn't anything different or I'm not very observant. So 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Who knows? So just a few notes about some of the songs that were there, including Croatia's Baby Lasagna with their song Rim Tim Tagidim, which a lot of people loved. And I understand why they loved it because it was great. I kind of do. Okay, this is my one little nitty pick about Eurovision. Subtitles might not be a bad idea for the songs, please, because I don't speak all of the languages in Europe, and I know that's my fault being a stupid American, but sorry. I don't speak everything. So there were a few times I'm like, I don't quite get it. I mean, like, I get the song is supposed to be happy or sad or whatever, but I'm just a dope and I barely speak English. So still working on my Elvish, and it's close to getting Klingon right. I actually know the word for, did you know that the Klingon language does not have a word for hello? The closest they have is nukhna, which means what do you want? Yeah, I know. I'm a nerd. I know. I'm a geek. I know. And I found a guy that actually likes me. Do you believe that? It's crazy. I know, it's nuts. But, okay, couple of other songs. Austria's Colleen with We Will Rave. I gotta be honest, I don't know if I've mentioned on this show or not before, but I'm a wrestling fan. I've been a pro wrestling fan for quite a long time. I'm sorry, We Will Rave would be the most kick-ass entrance theme music for somebody that had like a party gimmick. That would be so cool to use that song. So any aspiring wrestlers out there, get a listen to We Will Rave, and if you wind up using it as your entrance music, you're welcome. Although you should actually thank Colleen. Sorry. And Austria. You should also thank the country. Why not? Just be polite. It's you can never say thank you enough, because not enough people say thank you at all. You know who you are. But I'm not going to be Terrence and I are not going to be the Miss Manners for the rest of the world. We're just not going to bother. Okay. There were a few other songs though that I was kind of like, okay. Ollie Alexander from the United Kingdom with his song Dizzy. The song was terrific. The song was absolutely fantastic. It sucks that you didn't get any, 0 points from the voting from the audience. I was kind of like, okay, wow, and ouch, and that sucks. The song, as I said, is great. The performance was really well done, but oh my gosh, it actually did make me dizzy and slightly nauseous, because apparently, when I say nauseous, I mean not in a moral pearl clutching way. I mean nauseous as in like, okay, the camera angle's tilting too much and I'm gonna be sick. Because I don't know, it's probably a good thing I never went to see the Blair Witch Project, because people talked about that movie making people sick. And then this wasn't quite that jiggly camera stuff, although there was quite a lot of jiggly camera stuff in Cloverfield, which I had to see twice before I actually began to like it. But that's another story for another time. But I liked the song. I felt really bad that he didn't get any points from the voting public, which I still don't entirely get how that works. But that's just because I don't get it, because it's math. And math and I are not friends. We're barely on speaking terms. I loved Norway's Gate. Gate? Is Gate right? Is that close? I'm going to screw all these up again, and I'm so sorry. With Uvilham, I really love the feel of this. It just had such a cool fantasy feel to it that I really, really love. I realized it was also apparently based on a fairy tale from Europe, and I was like, that's really cool. I just love the dark feel of it, that it just kind of had this real powerful magical quality to it. And speaking of magic of one type or another, we had Ireland. Ireland, which is, the land of leprechauns and things like that, and fairies and stuff like that. And did you know that there are actually different types of fairies? There are good fairies and bad fairies. There's the Seelie Court and the Unseelie Court. And then there's Bambi Thug. I'm not going to ask what court Bambi Thug would be in, because I don't want the answer. Because Bambi Thug is kind of scary. And I mean that in the nicest possible way. I'm sorry. I was sitting there watching their performance of Doomsday Blue, and I was like, wow, we are throwing ourselves into this mother effer, aren't we? Woo! I have to be honest, I liked it the second time around, because the first time around, I think I was so stunned, my brain kind of went, we give up, white flag. But yeah, the second time around, I was like, wow, this is some really powerful stuff. I'm also kind of wondering how people in Ireland took to it, because Ireland, as far as I know, is still a predominantly Catholic country. And we all know the Catholics have a real big sense of humor. Speaking as one. But it was a terrific performance. And for a while, it was very neck and neck between Bambi Thug and Nemo and some other acts as well. So that's the thing. I was so pissed at my fella, because we've been watching Eurovision for a couple of years now, a few. We're because they finally brought it over here and we got to see it and stuff like that. And he was all excited and I was like, eh. Because I have the attention span of a house cat. So sometimes watching something like this, I get too bored and I get, fidgety and stuff like that. But by the end of Eurovision this year, I was like sitting here going, come on, get the results up. I'm going to puke. I'm so stressed out. Get the results up. And I looked at him and I was like, I am so pissed off at you. You made me care about this. And he was like, sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Really, I don't think he's sorry at all. But it was just, I was really like, oh my gosh. And then when Nemo was announced as the winner and I was like, yes. And we were all like, woo, excited, screaming and yelling and stuff like that. Like everybody else in this country does for like the Super Bowl, where we're just like, we're here for the commercials. Sorry. I realized every other football fan in New England just went, what? But I'm sorry. I can't help it. I don't understand football. I'm sorry. There's too many people and I can't understand what's going on. But anyway, back to Eurovision. Okay. I don't want to say there was any acts that I really didn't like, because there weren't. I have to be honest and say that. But I do have to be honest and say some acts really didn't set me ablaze. Mostly just because I found the songs to be kind of slow or boring or something like that. I wasn't really crazy about Latvia's entry Dawns with the Hollow. I don't know what it was about the song that just didn't work for me. Besides the fact that it looked like he was walking through the Guardian of Forever, and that just made me nervous because I'm like, oh no, we've got some time travel stuff coming. Yes, that's 2 Star Trek references in a row in one video. I know, I'm such the trendsetter. You could definitely tell he was pouring his heart and soul into his performance, which is obviously what you have to do when you're performing. Duh. It's just the song just really I didn't really feel it. But I know a lot of people did. Obviously, the people in his country did because they sent him, so that's a good thing. The one thing that I was kind of like, okay, was the performance of Tattoo, which led into her next song, the beautiful lady that won from last year, the performance artist that won last year, whose name TC is going to have to put up on here because I've just completely went blank on it. The staging, because it was, she meshed together Tattoo and her new song in a staging that looked like, wow, it looked like, well, for one thing, it looked like she was having a gyno exam if a gyno exam was directed by David Cronenberg. And if you've heard that line before, it's because I said it to TC before and he used it in his show, so it's not plagiarism if we live together. And also the fact that there were all these big streamers hanging down. I was like, so we've got this weird seating thing and jellyfish. Okay. She's an artist. I would never defame someone for their art or their choices. I might give it a look like this. the dog hearing a strange noise, head tilt. But I mean, her voice is so beautiful anyway. The nails, though, oh my gosh. Last year she had those long nails, and this performance she had gloves on that had the long nails. I'm like, how do you do that and not endanger? You could give yourself, home nose piercing or something like that if you forget that they're there and try and scratch yourself or something. But it was a great show. It was a lot of fun. You could obviously tell there were people there. The crowd was enjoying themselves. Lots of people with banners and things for their own countries, and hand fans. I love hand fans. I love them. I don't know why I love them. I do. I just always have. And I'm so glad to see hand fans kind of making a comeback. I'm kind of like, yes, we need less guns, more hand fans. And that's about as close to political as I get. So, ta-da. There were a few times when there was a little booing, but like I said, we're not going to talk about that because I don't want to get into politics on my frickin' show because I want to be about having fun. And it was just so much fun. Watching, like I mentioned before, watching Nemo be so excited and watch the scores climb higher and watching them get excited and stuff like that. And also the performance that they did with Neo and the orchestra where he performed the song with the orchestra. And I was like, wow. Like, this song could not get any more awesome. And they found a way to make it more awesome. Woo! It was very, very cool. I love Nemo now. I think that they are amazing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually would want to go see them in concert. The reason I'm saying that is because health issues and such have kept us from trying to mingle too much. And also the fact that between TC and I, there's certain concerts that we know if we went to now, people would be like, ew, who brought their mom and dad? I mean, I'd like to think we're not at the point where people would be like, ew, who brought their grandma and granddad? We're not at that point, right? Right? Sorry. Well, Terrence still thinks I'm young at heart, but that's because he's Terrence and he loves everybody. He loves you too. Mm-hmm. And we just had such a great time watching Eurovision, and to everybody who was involved, to all the people that don't get talked about it, because everybody talks about the performers and everybody talks about the hosts and all that stuff and all the work that they do, and they do a lot. But I want to say special thanks to the people that are the people you don't see. The camera people, the people that are running the sound booth, the security, the people that make sure that the lights go on and off when they're supposed to, the people that make sure the special effects happen the way they're supposed to happen, speaking as someone who was in one or two plays in college and one where someone with the fog machine went slightly overboard. All of, the people that you don't see and don't get thanks. Thank you so much for all that you did to make Eurovision 2024 just magical and amazing. So, Eurovision 2025. I mean, that's the thing with life and nowadays. We're like, oh, well, this is done. Now on to next year. Although I do think it's a bit early for that sort of stuff myself, but what do I know? I'm sure there's tons of people out there from the host countries that are, the countries that are going to compete, I should say, that are already planning songs and writing songs and what have you and such, which is super awesome and great. And I wish you all luck. I wish you all love. I wish you all the best. And I kind of wish you could all win, but unfortunately we have to have somebody. One person wins and everybody else gets to try again. Or they get to keep coming back and back like Johnny Logan. So, hi, Mr. Logan. It was very cool seeing you perform. You have an amazing voice still. So that is my look at Eurovision for this year. If you have any comments, questions, queries, complaints, money, no, I'm just teasing. Please, platinumroselle@yahoo.com. If you would like to leave a comment about this little old video, I would appreciate that very much. Like and subscribe to our channel. That would be super awesome and cool. If you have any ideas for a topic coming up for my show, you can definitely send that along. You can also find me on X Twitter. That doesn't sound right. It sounds like Twitter broke up with somebody. But I'm on X as well. That sounds worse. But you all know what I mean. And I'm Platinum Rose Lady on there as well. So come look for me there. And so this is Kim taking on for another week. And now Kim's taking off. So I'm Kim. This is Terrence the Wonder Duck. And remember, Terrence loves you. And I love you too. Have a great week. Keep rocking.